I'm Dr. Anita McLaughlin, a transformational counselor, mentor, chaplain, author, and entrepreneur. Stay with me as we redefine another diamond moment. Diamonds are produced through time, heat, and pressure. The cut, clarity, and size of the diamond will determine its use. The use of the stone adds to its value. Life's diamonds are produced in the same way, and their value is determined in the same manner. Becoming who you were intended to be is a process, and a process has stages. Now, if you're a diamond, it's time to redefine the previous steps in your process. Thank you so much for joining me again. I appreciate your listening and wanted to apologize just briefly. The previous episode was uploaded in error, so it has been replaced. And this is the update for the election, midterm election for 2020. At this point, this is the day after the election, and it has taken place. So hopefully you did cast a ballot. If you sat out this year's election feeling as though your voice didn't matter, actually, your voice played a huge role in whoever did win in your area, because it has been factored in that you would sit it out, and therefore your vote would not be counted. In not counting your vote, your silence or acquiescence is a form of negative participation, and you did participate, only you didn't have a say in what took place. So when I'm saying that in sitting out the election, what do I mean that you actually did participate? And I'm saying that in sitting out the opportunity to contribute your opinion, your concepts, and your beliefs, it has been factored in. That's strategy, so that one side will win because you didn't vote. I talked with you last time about some interviews that I heard, and in those interviews, one man, the military service member, who was concerned about his young daughter, but he didn't vote because he felt that his voice wouldn't be heard. I also talked about a lady who didn't vote, and she just really didn't know why. She just didn't. You hear all the time about people as, well, I'm just not political. I just don't care. But it's understanding that how much your voice matters, how much everything that we do matters. We can't sit out life thinking that it's someone else's responsibility and then later realize that our acquiescence has actually put us in a position that's less desirable for where we want to go. A couple of days ago, I heard another interview of a young Hispanic man, Latino man, and he felt that he just couldn't make a difference. He was too small. He termed himself a feeling like he was just a little ant. What difference could he make in anything? And so it brought to mind for me, I told you that I base my understanding in scripture because I found that there's truth there. There's a story. Some believe it's just a story. Others believe that it is actual history of Moses, who led the children of Israel out of the bondage of Egypt. In this story, they actually made it through all of the obstacles, all of the challenges, and they got to the point where they were at this land that had been promised to them by God. And when they got to this point, they sent out spies to go into the land and see if what they had been told, if what God, the Spirit, Source, the Creator, had laid in their hearts, that what it was going to look like when they got to this place. They sent out spies, and the spies came back. And they had two things that they that they said. One, they agreed that, yeah, this land is really good. It could be so wonderful for us. There's abundance in everything and everywhere. And then two of the spies said, I think that we can go in and overtake the inhabitants, and we can actually build our home here. We can make this land something that we can continue to dwell here for the rest of our lives. That was two of them. The other spies said, no, the people who live here are bigger than us, they're stronger than us, and we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. So I don't think we can do that. The interesting thing is that we never have the ability to determine what we look like in someone else's eyes. And as a matter of fact, it's not our business what we look like in someone else's eyes. They have the right to their opinion. It doesn't mean that we have to agree with their opinion of us. The first two spies didn't agree. They saw what was good in the land, and they felt like that which was good was attainable by them. The others said, no, we can't do it. We're too weak. We're too frail. We're too fragile. We can't do it. And they voted not to move forward to receive what they all felt that God, source, the creator spirit, had promised to them. And they held back. In their holding back, they didn't have the belief, the strength, the faith, or if for those who feel that we're vibrational beings, they weren't vibrating at a level that was high enough to overtake the situation that was confronting them. And because they were suppressed in their opinions of themselves, they could not go into that place that was meant for them. The entire group had to wait until those who were too afraid to try died before they could enter into that land, that better place in their lives. We can look at that story from so many ways. We can look at it in terms of our own lives. Are we in the job that we want? Do we feel that we're not equipped to do that job? Are we in the relationship that we want? Do we feel like I don't deserve that? Are we hedging and holding back because we feel that we're too insignificant to achieve the goal? Now, when we go back and look again at the situation of this man who felt that he was just like an ant, like a little ant, and what difference could he make? I want us to think about an ant. An ant is a remarkable creature. It's able to carry many, many times its own body weight. And when ants participate in a group, they can shut the cookout down. And depending on what type of ant it is, they can make the bigger one leave the entire area. Fire ants are nothing to play with. So when we're thinking about what difference one small person can make, they can make a great difference. There is so much power in one single ant. Remember how ants operate. When you see one ant, you know it signals that there's others around and there are others coming. In the life cycle of ants, the way that they maneuver, that they work together as a unit is really interesting. One scouting ant will go out, they'll find food, they'll come back to the mound and pass that information on in their own language to the others. And as a group, they will go out and return with the provisions to care for their entire community. One ant makes a big difference. When we look at how an ant doesn't consider how small they are or insignificant they might be. It just does its job. And it helps the collective. It helps its community. It helps its species to survive, no matter how small they are. One person can absolutely make a difference because there's strength in unity. We talked about the way that our society works, the way that one person can overcome a great tide moving against them simply by sticking together as a group. Recently, we discussed some anti-Semitic remarks that had been made by a celebrity, and then we saw that group clamp down and shut it down. If you feel as though you're not being treated appropriately in your community, you really do have a voice. If you feel as though you're being shut out of the system and not being allowed to participate, you really do have a voice. And it starts very low on the totem pole. It starts with local, participating on the school board, determining what happens in your life, being not allowing someone else to count you out before you ever stand up because they factored in you were going to sit down. Why do you have to play their game when you can simply speak for yourself? So there are a number of races right now that have taken place across the country that are still being counted. Some lost, some won. Your candidate might have lost. It's important that we take losses as they are. Another opportunity to overcome in a different way. That we win, and we win. If your candidate won, then hopefully it's moved you in the direction that you wanted to go. But if you sat out the election, you lost a great opportunity to be heard. I ended the last episode by saying the only thing that evil needs to succeed is for good people to do nothing. And I truly believe that. I believe that we send so many messages in our behavior. What we will tolerate, what we won't tolerate, what we want to be a part of, what we don't want to be a part of, what will be successful. When you hear people saying, well, it's so negative and everybody is so negative. When we get to opportunities like elections, we can signal. Just like that little one ant, we can signal to the group what we will accept and what we won't. We could turn it positive in one election cycle by simply not participating in the ugliness, in the division, and choosing not to cast our ballot for the person who seeks to divide us. So one person can make a difference. One ant is stronger than what he thinks, and that one ant can bring back the information that brings provision to his entire community if he simply does his job so that the collective might live. Thank you for listening, and join me next time as we redefine the previous steps of your process. Never forget, becoming is a process. A process has stages. One small change changes everything. So invest in yourself. Please visit my website at www.DrAnitaMc.com. That's DrAnitaMc.com for links and additional information. And please rate the podcast if you're enjoying it.